Welcome to Narrations. Today, we dive into one of the most heartfelt and inspirational real-life stories ever brought to screen, The Pursuit of Happyness, 2006. Directed by Gabrielle Maxino and starring Will Smith in a career-defining role, this emotional journey follows Chris Gardner, a struggling salesman in early 1980s San Francisco, as he fights tooth and nail for a better life for himself and his young son. This isn't just a movie. It's a lesson in grit, faith, and the unshakable bond of a father and child. The film opens with Chris Gardner, a bright but broke medical equipment salesman. He's invested his life savings in portable bone density scanners, devices that are slightly better than X-rays but far more expensive. Hospitals and doctors aren't buying them, which leaves Chris financially strained. His wife, Linda, grows increasingly frustrated with their mounting debt and Chris's constant absence. Their relationship fractures under the weight of economic stress. Chris spends his days cold-calling doctors, lugging scanners through the city, and trying to sell just enough units to keep them afloat. Meanwhile, he pours every ounce of love and energy into his 5-year-old son, Christopher Jr. Despite their struggles, Chris makes sure his son is fed, loved, and shielded from the harshness of their situation. One day, Chris sees a well-dressed man stepping out of a red Ferrari. He asks the man, "What do you do, and how do you do it?" The answer, stockbroker. That one moment plants a seed in Chris's mind. With no college degree, no connections, and barely a cent to his name, Chris decides he wants to pursue an unpaid internship at a prestigious brokerage firm, Dean Witter. It's a long shot, but he's determined. Chris finally lands an interview, but life throws him a curveball. The night before, he's arrested for unpaid parking tickets and spends the night in jail. He shows up to the interview in paint-splattered clothes, but his honesty and sharp mind impress the interviewers. He gets the internship, but it's unpaid, and only one intern will be offered a job at the end. As the internship begins, Linda decides she's had enough. She leaves Chris and moves to New York, but Chris insists on keeping Christopher with him. What follows is a harrowing journey. With no steady income, Chris and his son are evicted and end up homeless. They sleep in motels, on buses, and even in a locked subway station bathroom. Despite the crushing circumstances, Chris never lets his son feel the weight of their misfortune. He turns every night into a story, every setback into a lesson. He works tirelessly during the day at the brokerage, mastering financial concepts and making twice the number of calls as anyone else, because he has to leave early to pick up his son from daycare. The days are long and unforgiving. There's a moment when Chris donates blood for cash just to buy food. Another when he finally sells a scanner, and the small victory brings tears to his eyes. The emotional core of the movie is the quiet resilience between father and son. Their trust, their playfulness even in the darkest times, and their refusal to give up. Everything comes down to one final moment. After months of relentless hustle, Chris is called into an office at Dean Witter. The manager tells him he's been chosen for the job. Chris is stunned, silent at first, overwhelmed. He walks out of the building, into the sunlight, tears in his eyes, clapping his hands in joy. That iconic moment, raw and real, is a release of months of bottled-up pain and sacrifice. The film closes with Chris and his son walking down the street, hand in hand, finally stepping into a future filled with hope. A short message on screen reveals that Chris went on to found his own multimillion-dollar brokerage firm. The Pursuit of Happyness isn't just a film. It's a tribute to the human spirit. It shows us that happiness, or happiness, is something worth fighting for. Will Smith delivers a deeply moving performance, and his real-life son Jaden Smith brings authenticity to every scene they share. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to Narrations for more inspiring true-life journeys and classic movie recaps that remind us of the power of perseverance.